What up with it? Peace to the nigga nation. Yeah, I actually had intended to do this. Well, let me start off. Good afternoon. I come to bring about a bit of afternoon cheer as I head toward my assignment. You know, in which I earn my revenues and my means of subsistence, food, clothing, and shelter. But yeah, I meant to make this particular post, on my regular page, well, on my Facebook platform, The Real Beauty of Black Relationships, because I shared a post, and it was like it had well, Chris Brown was responding to, you know, like, I guess it's a situation where this particular artist, Chloe Bailey, she has a song with Chris Brown, and Chloe Bailey was getting all types of negative press in regards to having the audacity to work with Chris Brown. Meanwhile, Chris Brown has written songs for some of the top tier pop artists, and you know, if anything, you know, he had folks singing that. I don't know why I'm that lady right now. I mean, it's just like an R. Kelly song. The nigga is nice with his shit. So you got to respect him for being nice with his shit. Okay. But anyway, let me not get beyond the point of what I'm saying, you know, because people say, well, just because you support the art of the artist, you support the artist's bad behavior. That's not true. that is absolutely not true. At least in my particular circumstance, what's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong, period. But yeah, they were giving him all types of grief. Chris Brown felt that he was getting grief for Rihanna, because, you know, Rihanna's in the spotlight right now, you know, with the Vogue covering the Super Bowl performance, and you know, she's working on that album. This is all prior prep for that album. When that baby pop out, that album gonna pop out. I don't really understand why people don't understand how this is working. But that's not even what I'm on, man. Yeah, the man was like saying, well, you know, I can understand this is something that happened. He wrote, like they said, he wrote that he was 17 when it happened. People say it's 19. At least the report says he was 19 when it happened. But nevertheless, it was 14 years ago. And then since then, you know, Rihanna came out and, you know, she said, yeah, she even said, y'all act like he whooped y'all ass the way y'all reacted to the situation with my abuse. And, you know, it came into question back then. For me, it came into question, well, you know what? Well, I understand you ain't gonna never forget that a wrong has occurred, but there has to become a certain type of expiration date for forgiveness. So I asked the question, considering that Rihanna didn't let this, I don't know, I can't speak for her, say let the shit go, but she didn't, you know, it's water under the water under the bridge of forgiveness for Rihanna. So why can't it be water under the bridge for the media? You know, the man had a whole Michael Jackson routine set up once. You know, I don't know if it was a music award show or something, but he had that Michael Jackson shit set up where he was gonna come out. I don't know if he was doing Thriller or something, man, but that shit, they showed the background, they showed the underground footage of that shit. That nigga cold, man. At his age, he cold. He talking about however you want to talk about his personal life. He's a cold ass artist. But he's asking, you know, why can't I be forgiven? Y'all sit up here and watch Krishan Rock whoop up and Blueface. You know, they're always they're online fighting. So, you know, this is one instance of, you know, of loss of control. Is, you know, according to some sources, Rihanna admitted to hitting the nigga in the head with the heel of her shoe. You know, it's a 17 or 19-year-old kid, man. You know, how was y'all always tell y'all little boys, the girl hit him, you hit him back. So it's like, well, you bought that little boy and that little girl already bought up into a system of domestic violence, because any type of violence committed in a social setting where the expectation of being sociable is assumed or presumed, then, you know, that's a domestic situation. So if you committed the violence in a domestic situation, that is by logical deduction domestic violence. So I started thinking, I said, well, I asked this question on my platform, You know, I'm saying I'm asking this particular question because this is the one charge, this is the one domestic violence charge that man was convicted of and that he served a sentence for. We don't want to hear about, well, Karuchi said this and it was all these types of reports and stuff like that. If they had some on that nigga would be in prison. The way they be coming at dude now to this day, if they had some on that nigga would be in prison. So it's like, well, okay, you asked this question, but I understand, you know, some people they project their instances of maybe being a domestic violence. They can do that, and that brings me, to, you know, and that's fair because that brings me to the point of why I asked the question. You know, I don't know whether Blueface has been able to admit it to himself. Otherwise, he would have been to remove himself for the situation, unless it's some type of play for celebrity interest. I don't understand why he hasn't removed himself from the situation with him and Krishan. You know, I mean, is he not able to protect himself to that degree? You know what I'm saying? Damn, I had this air on all this whole time. But I apologize if y'all hear this shit, man. Damn. But what I'm saying is that, you know, it's Rihanna had forgiven Chris Brown. Chris Brown served his time or whatever. It's whatever sentence and penalty that he had to serve in regards to the wrong that he done, the mistake he made. Somebody said that it was dismissive for me to call it a mistake. That I was side with the abuser because I said that I labeled what happened between him and Rihanna a mistake. It was obviously a clear mistake. It was a wrongdoing, a mishap. You know, it didn't take any guilt away from a person by using that terminology, and that's just the way that you can become gaslighted online when you're having these discussions about these particular situations. So it's like, well, Chris Brown asked for forgiveness, is asking for forgiveness. You know, Rihanna forgave him. You know, so why y'all going at Chloe Bailey? Because Chloe Bailey want to do a song with the nigga. How is that fair to Chloe Bailey? She ain't got nothing to wear. She probably was in diapers or some shit when the song came out. I mean, when that shit was going on between Chris Brown and Riri, when they was like 19 or whatever, 19, 20. I think Rihanna a little older than him. But, you know, I guess someone who was continually underneath the scrutiny of media channel like TMZ, Entertainment Tonight, whatever, however you want to call it. And you know, him just being, he might be a high yellow black male, but he's a black male nevertheless. So it's like, well, what can he do but ask for forgiveness? So when I ask the question, is it fair for someone after all that time? And when I ask the question, I say in my mind, I say, well, hell, I've been a victim. When I define domestic abuse. Domestic abuse is abuse that's happened in a social setting, an abuse that's happened domestically within somewhere where that would be that on the normal circumstances would be a congenial and a peaceful place in order to consort with people. So in a domestic situation, I mean, I guess in more domestically, that would be within a household or between two people who know each other intimately or to some degree of familiarity. I could say, you know, I pride myself because of the mere fact that I saw my father was a physical abuser. He's a domestic abuser. You know, and people say, well, that was the era. That was an era of men back then, what have you. Nevertheless, you know, there are causes and effects, you know, that can be considered to that. Now, I myself, you know, I hadn't, and I thank God I love my mother to the point I didn't want, I never, you know, no matter what I was able to, you know, I never, hearing is enough. You know what I'm saying? And certain evidence you may see afterwards, you know, that's enough. You know, but then it come down to the fact, but you also getting your ass whooped. You know, with switches and you know getting chops to the throat and you know just all types of psychologically abusive punishments. Yeah, but I can't put that off on the old man. I guess he had a certain way of rearing. I don't know. I don't know my grandfather's personality would be or something like that. But maybe it was his grandfather that might have imbued a toxic type of personality into my grandfather. My great grandfather may have, because my great grandfather he I think they say he went as far as sixth grade, and he had to start taking care of his sisters and his mother. And he worked all his life, and he acquired land and acquired assets before he passed. But nevertheless, let me get back onto this point of domestic violence part, right? So it's like, well, I asked this question, and they go to, where he did this to Karuchi, this, that, and the third, and he knocked out the window with Gail King, Robin Roberts, or whatever. He has a temper problem, he has a drug or alcohol problem. How many convictions? What conviction? Okay, we had accusations, and it's fair, believe all women, as the rhetoric said, we supposed to believe all women. And I give anybody the benefit of the doubt, whether you're a man or a woman. But what I say is that, okay, I asked this question about the length of time. It's been 14 years for Chris Brown. He's still trying to get forgiveness for Rihanna. So it's like, well, my daddy, my father, he's been dead since probably easily 20 years. So it's like, well, at what point am I supposed to forgive? I mean, I ain't say nothing about forget about what happened. I can't say nothing about that, because my mind was embedded in my mind, gonna be embedded in my mind is how I cope with it, how I handle, how I deal with it, how am I able to thrive, or will I let that be a burden upon my spirit to where I'm unable and decapitated or stiffened or reluctant to move. So yeah, I get the backlash on my post or whatever. They say I'm apologizing for Chris Brown. You're an abuser. It's the same shit like you say if you like the R. Kelly, if you like Contagious with R. Kelly and Ron Isley, then you was a rape apologist. Them days, them during the good old Me Too days. But I don't even want to go there. It's like I say, well, I'm saying to myself, well, not only have I could say just getting ass whoopings and stuff like that. They say it goes back to slavery, blah, blah, blah. Not even going back to slavery. That shit is psychologically abusive. Okay. I used to think it made me a better person. Maybe it did to some degree. I don't know. But I'm sure there's other ways to make me a better person than having to go and get braided switches and, boots to the ass and shit like that, man. But it is what it is. I decide, am I supposed to still carry the burden of not being able to forgive a dead man even? Am I supposed to hold that resentment for the rest of my life? How is that fair to me? How is that fair to anybody who was around me or who was associated with me? Let me know. My bad. Hold on, y'all. Let me pick you up. Shit. Yeah, am I right? Am I holding it right? I think I'm holding it right. No, am I? Yeah, I think that's right there. But yeah, how is that fair to anybody? I look at it like this, man. Wait, this motherfucker shit. Let me hold it like this. Okay. I'm shaking. I look at it like this. I'm really shaking. I'm trying to put it down. I'm running late, that's why. But and plus I'm nervous to say what I want to say. I don't hit women. I lived in a situation where I've seen women. I know women have been abused in situations where women have been abused or abuse victims, and I didn't want to necessarily repeat that cycle. I have 4 sisters, and then it's like you think about Chris Brown. Y'all say that he's an abusive person. Now maybe that's your belief by the evidence you have, but you also have to realize at this point, Chris Brown also has young girls. So let's I guess the people who may be religious or whatever may say what the sins will revisit the father, you know, has is whatever. So it's like, well, he has to worry about the same toxic behaviors that he might have put toward women, coming in return to his young girls. But again, it's like I say, they were going at me on my page like that. I'm apologizing for the fact that the nigga whooped her. I said, God damn, I don't know now one of them motherfuckers. It's like, well, shit, y'all up here holding resentment to imagine to people y'all don't know and are not involved in that particular situation. I don't, it's like, well, all right, you don't like the nigga, so are you supposed to do the mean girl on me to convince me to dislike the person as well? Or not even fuck Chris Brown in the whole situation. The concept of forgiveness. That's my point. Is like, well, when are you supposed to be able to forgive shit? Are you supposed to hold the resentment of getting your ass, man, getting to the point where your fucking favorite shirt was ripped off, you got welts all on your back and shit like this, man? Hey man, I was angry, I was a quiet kid, but I did my share of shit. I don't know if it deserved the abuse I got, but hey, I did my share of shit, and I was an angry young man. I mean, I was good at holding anger in, but when I had the opportunity to express the anger, it was never mind. I'm just saying, man. It's like, okay, I'm saying, when are you supposed to forget the abuse? When are you supposed to forget that shit? Somebody trying to call my phone. Oh, I ain't call this motherfucking bitch at this time. Fuck out of here. Still going. But yeah, man. I don't know, man. Fuck it. I'm just saying, Blueface, man. Christian whooping your ass too, buddy. So it's like you pretty much a victim as well, an abuse victim as well. So it's like, I don't know why you would have you and especially your mama. Not only did the gal whoop you, she whooped your mama too. So I don't know, man. I got to go and handle my business. Peace to love, man. Peace to the nigga nation and nothing. This is for the Real Beauty of Black Relationships page. I'm gonna have to screenshot this shit and put over there. But man, y'all niggas on my neck. All I'm trying to say is, when should I forgive my abuse? I ain't trying to forgive Chris Brown. Fuck Chris Brown. I got other people who would put their shoe on my ass to forgive than a motherfucking Chris Brown. Goddamn.